is the Wrestlebread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 128 of the Wrestlebread Podcast. So we have a very interesting week in wrestling. I thought we had AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday. Come to find out, I completely forgot, that is actually on Saturday. And that the biggest piece of news right now is that we are going to have a Friday night war between AEW's Rampage and WWE Smackdown. So about a week or two ago, WWE had announced that, their Smackdown is going to be on FS1 and that it's going to be called the Super Show because it's going to be 2 hours and a half. And, with that means 30 minutes is going to go into AEW Rampage. So, Tony Khan, of course, came out and was like, hell no, we won't go. And he has booked a Super Show with a quote unquote buy-in. So Rampage will start at 10 o'clock, but it will also have some shows that will appear, I believe, at 9:30. I believe that's what it's going to be. And now WWE has announced that that SmackDown will be commercial free, which I find pretty interesting. Because WWE loves, their commercials and the placements of it and everything. Same thing with AEW. Tony Khan had mentioned something. I forgot to get the exact quote, but he was like, that's okay. I can do the same thing with my money, but except for it's going to last longer, something along those lines. I'm not 100% sure, but very interesting Friday we're going to have. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch both fucking shows because, I can do that. I might have SmackDown muted. I'll say that. And I might pay a little more attention to what's going on Rampage, especially that buy-in. We're definitely getting things that, we're looking forward to. I was trying to pull up the card secretly and let's see. Yeah, I was trying to pull up the card of what is going to be. I do know that it's supposed to be Daniel Bryan versus, and I'm going to butcher the name, so I kind of don't want to say it until I see it. It's supposed to be for the 15th. Yeah, I know they're going to have Daniel Bryan on the buy-in, and then I think there's a second match as well. But, and some people was like, well, why are they giving away this show for free? And I've said this before. I think I actually found it. Great. And I said this before. The thing is with AEW, they have things to prove. So they can't easily just sit there and say like, hey, can you guys pay some money to watch our pay-per-view? Because that's not going to happen. Let's be serious. WWE has been around for so long, and we have been accustomed to paying $10 and now $5, $6 for WWE Peacock. And so now the price of pay-per-views in wrestling has gone drastically down, sometimes along with the quality of it. And so with that, AEW has to kind of give away things for free to kind of get people to buy in. I know I just used that perfectly. To get people to buy in into their show, their pay-per-views and things like that. So, as far as like free TV, I am all for it. So yeah, with Rampage this week, we got CM Punk fighting Matt Sydal, and that's going to be on the show as well. We also going to have Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager versus Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Junior Dos Santos. We're also going to have Ruby Soho versus the Bunny. And then we're going to have this buy-in. So originally, it was supposed to be Daniel Bryan versus Bobby Fish. I think that was supposed to be on the actual card. But then they switched it up, with this whole thing with actually Daniel Bryan is supposed to go against Bobby Fish on October 16th. But then they switched it up for this buy-in event that will, let me see, what time does this buy-in event start? I believe it starts at 9. So Bobby Fish is supposed to go against somebody, and Bryan Danielson is supposed to go against someone as well. And I don't know why I can't find the buy-in card. That is slightly freaking annoying with me. But I say, hey, I'm all for it. Give me some good ass wrestling. I hope WWE put on their best SmackDown. Suzuki, yes, that's it. Suzuki versus Daniel Bryan on the buy-in show, which I believe is going to be on the YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's going to be on the YouTube channel at 9:00. And it's like, you're giving that to us for free. Kenny Omega versus Daniel Bryan, we're getting for free. But the thing is, and a lot of people are, had complained about getting things for free. And people quickly forget, back in the Attitude Era, the era that everyone praises and always references whenever, they talk about the good old days. We got a lot of good free matches, on Raw and SmackDown, because WWE had so many top talent with Stone Cold and The Rock and Triple H and, things like that, tag teams, the women's division. There was a lot of great pay-per-view quality matches that happened on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. And Monday Night Raw and SmackDown was go to watch TV. And they even had the monthly pay-per-views back then. But the Monday Night Raws and everything still kind of kept you involved with it all. Also on the buy-in, we're going to have Santana Garrett versus Tay Conti as well. The Lucha Bros versus the Acclaim, Sky Blue versus Jade. Oh, no. That is incorrect. That is last Friday's event. But yeah, Bryan Danielson versus Suzuki, give that to me. Give that all to me. I cannot wait for Friday with, some good ass wrestling. I cannot wait for that. So this is taking place in Miami this week as well. I could have sworn there was something else too. Oh yeah, Bobby Fish versus Lee. I forgot how to pronounce his last name, which seems like that's going to be a pretty good technical match as well. Also too, people are going back and forth because Top Dollar had mentioned how people buy sneakers just to buy sneakers, and then turn around and actually wear Vans and Asics exclusively. But here it is. Some of y'all favorite wrestlers only wear sneakers on camera to seem cool and hip, but in real life they rock Vans and Asics exclusively. But y'all not ready for that conversation. And then the Bucks turned around and put on their bio, because that's the type of thing they love to do. Spent more on sneakers in September than the entire NXT roster did. And it's for me, it's like, does it really matter if they actually wear these sneakers in real life? I mean, their whole persona is, with the Young Bucks, is they're wearing, Dior sneakers and all that other stuff. If they rock Vans in real life, like, are we really going to be upset? Like, if we bumped into Mark Calloway back in the 90s or the early 2000s, are we really going to be upset that he wasn't walking around like the Undertaker 24/7? I don't give a damn if they wear Vans or Asics exclusively outside of the ring, because their thing is that they buy all the sneakers. Like, I really don't care. I think, truthfully, and this might sound mean, I think Top Dollar really needs to concentrate on what the hell they're going to do on the main roster. Because I really hope that, Hit Row will get treated pretty good. Because I'm still kind of shocked that Hit Row is on... they're on SmackDown, so, there's hope for them. But, with BFAB on there, like, she still needs a lot of work. I'm not going to say a little bit, but a lot of work. And it's like, it is what it is. I mean, there are a lot of wrestlers who have one persona, like The Rock. Like, when he was buying the $800 shirts, quote unquote, and the shoes and all that other stuff. And, like, if he's walking around in the Nike, the Nike jacket and track pants, the tracksuit, am I really going to be upset that he isn't walking around with the $1 million shirt and shoes and stuff like that? So, I don't know. I feel as though it's that was all for nothing. And then, of course, all the fans are, like, choosing a side, like this is Game of Thrones or something like that. You got to choose what house you ally with. But yeah, I think that this Friday, I'm all for it. I'll be watching both shows, most definitely. Let's see, a SmackDown, they're going to have Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, which I believe is going to be the main event that's going to that's going to happen during that 30 minutes. We're going to have Finn Balor going against Sami Zayn for the King of the Ring semifinals. Also, Zelina Vega going against Carmella in the Queen of the Ring semifinals as well. And I say I'm all for it. I hope Becky and Sasha Banks tear the damn house down. I hope, Bryan Danielson, Suzuki tear the house down. I hope Rampage is a good ass show. Like, cause that's what I want. Like, I really don't, I did the whole, loyalty with one company. And in my opinion, that kind of cost me because I missed out on a lot of great moments or matches in other companies. So, bring it on. I hope AEW and WWE like really tear the house down because, it's going to be a great show. It really is. Speaking of shows, we have Crown Jewel coming out next Thursday. It's going to be late over in Saudi, but over here, I believe it's coming at 2 or 3 o'clock. I'm not planning to watch it live. However, if the finals of the King of Ring is what I hope it will be, I may tune into it live while I'm still working. I might, peek at it every now and then. I'm going to go into predictions before I go into slightly some of the things that happened this week. So starting off, we had Mansoor versus Mustapha, and I realized they definitely used to call him Mustafa, and I didn't look it up either as to why they changed it from Mustafa to Mustafa Ali, but whatever. We know who's going to win here. It's going to be Mansoor. Like, he's undefeated over there. That's their guy who, homegrown talent and everything like that. I am slightly surprised that he wasn't in the King of the Ring, that, there's no stakes for this King of the Ring. There's no title shot or anything. So I had the thought that he may have been in the King of the Ring tournament, kind of, especially since the finals is over in Saudi as well. Next is the Hell in a Cell match, Edge versus Seth Rollins. I'm hoping that they will be okay because temperatures over in Saudi during that show can really get hot in that stadium. And I'm really hoping that, the quality of this match will be there, despite how, as long as both competitors are, not dehydrated or in not too hot in that weather. Because Edge and Seth Rollins, this match will probably be match of the night, truthfully. If they're able to do what they're so good at. I'm going to go with Edge here. But I think that it could go to Seth Rollins to kind of continue the feud. I really don't know, where else the feud can go. I mean, they can definitely bring it back to the U.S. and kind of continue the feud from there. But, with Seth Rollins breaking into Edge's house, pulling the Rick James on the couch, drinking up the orange juice and messing up the food, and now poor Beth Phoenix gotta go back to the grocery store and buy new groceries. I think Edge is going to pull it off here. Probably to end this feud, maybe even take some time off. Who knows? Because this is kind of like the quote unquote dead period of WWE where there's not a lot of things. There's not going to be a lot of high-powered matches going on, mainly because they are setting up a lot of the champion versus champion matches for Survivor Series, and they did announce that they will not be having a December pay-per-view, which is good, because December pay-per-views it kind of is it's just there because WWE is really trying to wait for January to roll around so that they can get started booking for the WrestleMania season. They are going to have I believe it's a pay-per-view for New Year's Day. I think they're going to do. So we'll see how, that's going to get set up. But I'm going to go with Edge on this one. And then we're going for the Queen's Crown Tournament Finals. It's going to be between the winner of Zelina Vega and Carmella versus the winner of Shayna Baszler versus Doudrop. I'm going to now with Queen of the Ring and the King of the Ring. Now I have a slight rant about this Queen's Crown, aka Queen of the Ring tournament. For WWE to sit there and say, Women's Revolution and they have the best women's roster and all this other stuff, I really would have thought that the Queen's Crown tournament and even the King of the Ring tournament would have been a lot more. A lot of people were upset at how much time was given to these women for the first round. And while, there was arguments of how it was with the King of the Ring back in the 90s, those matches was also short. But on top of that, with the King of the Ring back in the 90s and the early 2000s, the bracket was a lot more. It was a lot more matches in the first round. And then on top of that, they had a very packed show, packed roster card anyway. So a lot of those first round matches really didn't matter because you had about I think it was 16 matches or something like that in the first round. And so, those matches kind of really didn't matter until you got to the semifinals. Whereas though here we have a total of 3 rounds to crown the winner. So I felt as though I thought that, they could have done a lot more with this. First of all, fucking Liv Morgan getting eliminated in the first round. I felt like this was like March Madness with the brackets all being busted because everyone and their mama thought that Liv Morgan was at least going to go to the finals, but it looks like that is not happening at all. And I thought this would have been made a bigger deal. I thought that the bracket would be a lot longer, that they would have brought back legends, that they would have NXT women in here, very similar to the Mae Young Classic, very similar to the Women's Royal Rumble, where this is made into a really big thing. And it just felt like this was something that was rushed, that they wanted to do this just for Saudi and, they had plans and then they decided to tear it up. Because I just don't understand how it was only 8 people starting off for the men and the women with this. You could have definitely had because it's not like even, and I had mentioned this on the Clark Street Wrestling podcast, like you could even throw Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Sasha Banks into the first rounds. Maybe have Sasha cause Bianca's spot in the tournament, have Bianca cause Becky's spot in the tournament, and you could have, made that more of a storyline. Usually with the King of the Ring tournament, there is a slight story that kind of comes along or that is made from it. And I thought that this would have been a much bigger deal especially with the women, because, women's revolution and all the other crap that they had always talked about. And on top of that, right now, WWE has the best women's roster as far as like established talent. We got, Shayna Baszler. We have, Zelina Vega on there. We had Liv Morgan. You got Charlotte, Becky, Bianca, Sasha. You have Naomi. You have Sonya Deville. You have a lot more women. You can bring up a lot of the NXT women. We could have seen Io Shirai. We could have seen Toni Storm. Well, no, Toni Storm was in there, but we could have seen Toni Storm. We could have seen Toxic Attraction, for crying out loud. You could have brought back Lita. You could have brought back Trish. Hell, you could have brought back Paige if you wanted to. And even the Bellas, whichever one of the Bellas isn't, don't have anything to do right now. And just really made it a really big, memorable moment, especially for the female fans who just really wants to see some good women's wrestling. The talent is definitely there with this group. But, it is what it is now. I kind of did had slight high expectations with this tournament before the bracket was announced. But once I saw that they announced the first round matches before they released the actual bracket, I kind of figured that this isn't going to be anything good. Actually, when they announced that the finals was going to be in Saudi, I figured that this isn't going to be anything good. But as we saw, a very small bracket, the women's matches all lasted like 3 minutes or less. Like a Goldberg match lasted a lot longer than these women's matches. And it's really a shame. It really is. Because, you would expect something, and I don't really give WWE a lot of excuses because they've been in the game for over 30 years. And so they went through, the Attitude Era, wanting to do this women revolution and all this other stuff, and they have really good talent. And it's just like, is at the point now that it's just straight laziness right now. I don't know if it's laziness on the writer's part because they constantly get their ideas either turned down or get adjusted or something like that. Or if it's just laziness from, coming off of Vince and the higher management. But somewhere along the line, there's a lot of laziness that's going on. And it's really a shame for, especially a company who thrives on storylines, who thrives on drama, well-written characters and stuff like that. And you can really see where, there's not a lot of energy being put into things like this. But if I was the booker, I would have doubled the size of this tournament. I would have brought up NXT. I would have brought in NXT women. I would have brought NXT UK women here. I would have brought back legends, just something exciting. And more likely the legend won't make it to the finals, but it still will be a fun thing to go through. Something memorable. Like, this is the first ever Queen of the Ring, and this is the memory that we're going to have from it. Very similar to the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Unfortunately, that was tarnished because it was a man who won it and not a woman. So, I'm hoping that maybe, this was like a test run or something. Because, the first SummerSlam, the first Mania, the first Royal Rumble wasn't the most memorable. Normally it's, a little further in that, the best WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble and Survivor Series are more memorable. So I'm hoping that, with the Queen's tournament, that, maybe next year's Queen's Queen of the Ring is a little more better, that, hopefully they listen to the fans of how crappy this is, and then they decide to do better, open up the bracket, open up the selection, let there be more women coming in for it, and, but we'll see how it goes. Now, as far as who I think will win the first Queen's Crown tournament, I think this is going to come down to Carmella and Doudrop, and I think ultimately Carmella is the one who's going to win. Normally, like I said, the Queen of the Ring or the King of the Ring normally goes to a heel because they play up the whole king and queen thing a lot. And I feel as though because she already announces herself as the most beautiful woman in the world, I think with her winning the crown is definitely going to heighten her persona as far as being like this self-absorbed woman. So I'm going to go with Carmella to win the whole thing. Going into the King of the Ring tournament finals, now come this Monday on Raw, will definitely determine if there is going to be a lot of happy people or a lot of pissed off people. So this Friday, we are going to get Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor for the finals. I don't know why Sami Zayn is in this tournament. There is no way he's going to be in the finals. But I'm also slightly concerned for Finn Balor because the last time he was in Saudi, he did take that picture afterwards of him with the Pride shirt on there. So I don't know if, how that's going to play out once he goes back over there. If maybe he was punished behind the scenes for taking that picture and, everything is all square. I highly doubt it because we are talking about Saudi, unfortunately. And so I'm hoping that everything, is fine. But obviously Finn Balor is going to go over in this match. On the Raw side, however, we have Jinder Mahal and Xavier Woods. And everyone and their mama and their grandmom, aunt, uncle, cousin, and baby mama is rooting for Xavier Woods. To Xavier Woods, winning King of the Ring tournament is better than winning the WWE Championship. And so him winning this, it'll definitely mean a lot more to him than, him winning, like I said, him winning the WWE Championship. And I'm hoping that he gets his wish. I'm hoping that he wins, the Ultimate King of the Ring. However, I had this like slight bad feeling once I found out, because I didn't watch Raw live because I was I was out of town with family. And once I read that Jinder Mahal beat out Kofi Kingston, I had a slight bad feeling about it because a lot of people wanted Kofi Kingston versus Xavier Woods. They even teased it by constantly asking, Kofi and Xavier, what would they do if they had to face each other? And, they really didn't want to answer that. But I felt as though, I don't think that there would have been any issues if they were to face each other. It definitely could have been, shake hands, face each other, and then hug it out at the end. And, just say, whoever is the best man would win. I was hoping that's what we would get. Obviously, we're not getting that. We are getting Jinder Mahal versus Xavier Woods. After Jinder won, he put on the whole crown and sat in the seat. And they even mentioned how he has to get the crown resized so it can fit his head. And I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this. Quote Star Wars on me for that one. And I have a feeling that this is going to end up being Finn Balor versus Jinder Mahal. Now, if I'm wrong, this is something I will be so happy to be wrong about. But I have a feeling it's going to be Jinder Mahal versus Finn Balor. And I don't think this is going to be Xavier Woods' year. Selfishly, I'm hoping that, next year's King of the Ring will happen in the US. That way, when Xavier wins finally, that he will definitely get the pop that he deserves. I mean, they're going to pop over there, but, I feel as though, I don't know. I just really hope that he gets, the hometown, big pop and everything like that. Just like Big E and Kofi Kingston got when they had their moment to shine, when they won the titles. But I have a feeling it's going to be Jinder Mahal. Like I said, the whole crown situation, it works very well with the heel, with them wearing the crown and acting the fool and stuff like that. I mean, we've seen it with King Corbin. Because, for example, it worked very well with like Owen Hart even. Because Bret Hart won King of the Ring. And it was just like, I like Bret Hart, but it was very like, it wasn't exciting when he won it. So, normally when we all remember King Booker as well. So, I'm hoping that maybe, we just, let's just make it a happy ending, won't we? But yeah, looking back at the list of people who have won the King of the Ring, like a lot of them were heels that really played up the king role. And you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not remember a lot of faces carrying on the king mantle as far as calling themselves king and stuff like that. If I'm wrong, definitely let me know. But I do not remember something like that happening. After that, we have the no holds barred match of Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley. Goldberg, of course, keep mentioning murder. I don't know if we need to have the FBI agents on standby. Hopefully, the FBI have been listening in and hear Goldberg, make threatening statements and then sit there and say, which makes, perfect sense in his head, a lifeless body still gasping for air. Obviously, he did not show up to English class that day when, the teacher was talking about, make sure your sentences make sense. But anyway, I'm going with Bobby Lashley on this one. I'm not a fan of Goldberg. I have a feeling that Goldberg is going to win this because they are definitely running the story of Bobby Lashley touching his son. Even though his son slightly deserves it, like, you don't get in the ring unless you're ready to swing, okay? Don't jump on Bobby Lashley's back trying to do a chokehold and not expect Bobby Lashley to think that someone else was on his back and then sit there and put the hurt lock on him. First of all, he needs to do a lot better of selling as well. But then again, his dad is Goldberg, who don't really know how to sell like the best of them. I'm hoping that we won't get like the same crap that we did when they last faced each other, with Goldberg like selling horribly a leg injury and, slowly going down and what have you. I'm hoping that is not what we're going to get. That we're going to get something, a little bit better than that. But I'm going with Bobby Lashley on this one. I think the Hurt Business may get involved. Maybe cost Goldberg the match. Probably may continue on with this feud. Because it's that type of year. Or, that they won't continue on with this feud and have, Goldberg kind of like, ride off into the sunset until WrestleMania time, where he decides he wants another title match. I am appreciative, however, that this is a non-title fight, that this is solely for, the honor of his son or whatever, but we'll see how Bobby Lashley reacts in this match. If he's that, upset parent who wants to kill Bobby Lashley, I expect to see somewhat more aggression. We'll see what Mini Goldberg is going to do if he is over there as well, but I'm going with Bobby Lashley on this one. Singles match for the WWE Championship, we got Big E versus Drew McIntyre. Of course, Big E is going to win. Drew McIntyre is going to SmackDown. It would make zero sense for Big E to lose his title here with Drew McIntyre going to SmackDown with the WWE Championship. I highly doubt I would say it's a 0% chance of happening, but this is a WWE. I will say it's a 99% chance that Big E will not lose his title. First of all, he just got it. And I'm hoping that he holds on the title for a little bit longer, at least until WrestleMania season, until they decide who they want to give that title to. But I'm going with Big E on this one. I think Drew McIntyre will, leave Saudi to go to SmackDown as a new man. And hopefully he leaves the sword somewhere as well. For the Raw Tag Team Championship, we got RK Bro versus AJ Styles and Omos. I'm going to go with RK Bro here. Of course, their chemistry, is starting to grow on everyone. I am really hoping for AJ Styles to be back on his own. I said this before, ever since he teamed up with Omos, he hasn't been the same AJ Styles. He's not the AJ Styles that, is the face that runs the place and, having John Cena put on 5-star matches and what have you. So I'm hoping that, Styles and Omos kind of go their separate ways respectively. They don't need to have a feud or anything like that. It's something that I realized when I was on Clark Street Wrestling Podcast is that we finally got Finn Balor and AJ Styles on the same show. So let's get this feud going. I am all for WrestleMania 38. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. Give that to me. Yum, yum, yum. But I'm going to go with RK Bro on this one. The fun tag team and their whole dynamic to win over in Saudi. Next up, for the SmackDown Women's Championship, a triple threat match of Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Now, this is a special moment because this is the first time we're going to have 2 women's matches in Saudi. We have the Queen's Crown Tournament, which probably will actually be a quick match, I'm not going to lie. But as far as with these 3 women, I am very, very curious of how much time they're going to get. Because with these 3 women, they can easily put on a 20-minute match. However, with the culture that's over there in Saudi, as much as yes, WWE was able to put on a wrestling show respectively over there. However, I am very curious if the women is going to get a respectable amount of time to put on this fantastic triple threat match. A match that we know is going to be a very good match. I mean, come on. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania is definitely a candidate for match of the year. Definitely stole the show, pretty much stole the pay-per-view. And then we got Becky Lynch, who definitely had main evented WrestleMania as well. And so with these 3 women, definitely can put on a very good 20-minute match. However, this is 9 matches on the card, and I'm interested to see if they are going to get enough time to really develop the storytelling and everything in this match. I have a sneaky feeling that this match may be less than 10 minutes. I will not be surprised if it's less than 5 somehow, which is going to be a tragedy. Because you have such talented women. And truthfully, this is the first time that we're getting a legit big women's match on the Saudi card. So I'm very interested in this, and I may keep an eye out and watch that live, just so I know what it's going to be about. Now, of course, I'll watch it before I record next week, and so I will have the review of Crown Jewel. But that is the match that I am interested in seeing. For this, I'm going to go with Becky Lynch. I originally was going to go with Sasha Banks. However, they have this situation where they switched the women's championship between Charlotte and Becky Lynch. I thought Charlotte would have a match on this card, or maybe a high, like a big title defense soon, but it seems like that's not happening unless someone comes out and just challenges her face to face on Raw next week. But I do not see her defending and losing the title anytime soon. So in my opinion, Sasha Banks can't win the title. And you may say, oh, she can win the title, and then, they could easily just have 2 titles on SmackDown for a little bit, and, the Sasha or Charlotte 2-belt situation. However, that was back when SmackDown was on USA Network. Now it's on Fox, and Fox has been getting upset as far as, the different SmackDown and USA Network actually have been, displaying their feelings about, this wrestler being on the other show, or this network is being promoted on our network type of situation. It's just very different between, just simply having this Raw versus SmackDown dynamic. You gotta keep in mind the network execs as well. You gotta make them happy as well. So I highly doubt they're going to have one wrestler with 2 belts, drafted to a particular show. So Charlotte is on SmackDown, Becky Lynch is on Raw. So I think Becky will retain. I don't think Bianca Belair is going to win back her title this soon. I will be very surprised if she wins back the title this soon. But I don't see Sasha Banks winning it because of Charlotte still having her title. I don't see Bianca winning it because I think it's too soon for her to win. I think that they're going to restart this whole underdog story with Bianca Belair, and then she'll win the title for a second time. But I'm going to go with Becky to retain here. May not be a clean finish on this one. This may be a heel finish for Becky to win. That's kind of what I'm getting the sense of, but I have Becky retaining. And then finally, for the main event, the WWE Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman on a pole match. Paul Heyman having to choose his man. First of all, great acting by Paul Heyman this past Sunday with him crying and having to, Roman Reigns acting like the new boyfriend, telling his girlfriend to get on the phone with her ex to say on speaker, have him on speaker, have the ex on speaker, and have her sit there and say that it's over between them two due to his insecurities. That's definitely what played out on Friday Night SmackDown with Paul Heyman cutting a promo to the camera to Brock Lesnar in defense of his tribal chief. I am going to say that Roman Reigns retains. It's very possible for Brock Lesnar to win here, but I think that Paul Heyman is going to play a factor in this. I think as well as the Usos is going to play a factor in this match. I think that Paul Heyman may come off that he is going to help Brock Lesnar and then decides not to help Brock Lesnar. And while he may get the approval of Roman Reigns for helping him out, I don't think Roman Reigns will forget that there was, a little seed or a bit of doubt of, his intentions. But I'm going to go with Roman Reigns here. Overall, this is an okay card for Saudi. Like I said, if Xavier wins on Monday Night Raw and goes into Saudi with the finals going against Finn Balor, I'm definitely going to try to catch it live just so I can see Xavier Woods winning his the King of the Ring tournament, getting all teary-eyed and everything like that as well. Kind of swing back to AEW Dynamite. The matches that was announced: Bobby Fish going against Bryan Danielson, the Lucha Bros versus a masked tag team who will be selected by Andrade as well. I'm very interested on who will show up, and maybe a tag team from AAA, and maybe a tag team that originated from Lucha Underground as well. I can't wait to see what's going to come from that. We also have Dante Martin going against Malachi Black. Very cool seeing Malachi Black live last week as well. And I was hoping to catch Dante Martin live. I think he is an incredible wrestler, but I didn't get to see it. But I am ready for AEW to come back to Philly as well. And then we have the start of the World Title Eliminator Tournament as well, which will be actually revealed. The bracket will be announced. And that is definitely a way that, you can definitely introduce Bryan Danielson to the title picture by having him go through this tournament as well. It was speaking of Full Gear. It has been revealed that Hangman Page and Kenny Omega will be facing each other for the AEW Championship at Full Gear. So I am interested to see how this World Eliminator Tournament is going to play out. If the winner is going to be added to make it a triple threat match, or possibly, they face the champion, kind of similar to what we had before with Bryan Danielson, the champion, Kenny and Hangman Page probably facing each other earlier in the match, and then the winner of that match will go against whoever wins the whoever goes against the winner of the tournament. They can definitely do it that way, or they may, do something else. I did see that Tony Khan, when he was posing for a photo during the Jaguars game, he was clutching a notebook that apparently had things written down to show the potential card for AEW Full Gear, but it was a bunch of scribbles in my opinion. So I tried to check it out, but I don't think it could definitely change. He could it is card subject to change, so he can definitely switch it up and decide that he is not going to book those matches, and that maybe the notebook was done to kind of get people talking. Definitely forgot that Halloween Havoc is coming up next week. No, it's the following week. Yeah, it's the following week, so I have time. But getting into NXT 2.0, and I mentioned it before that I was giving it a chance, but I really do not see it happening. My issue with NXT 2.0, first of all, business-wise, it's a really bad decision. I can see if this was back on if this was on Peacock or on WWE Network or something like that, or even YouTube, what they're doing here would make a lot of sense as far as putting in all these new faces. It will definitely make a lot of sense. However, they are on a network show where ratings matter, if they want to, keep the contract and whatnot. And so as far as them introducing all these new faces and, kind of like making it difficult for fans to really get attached to it. Because there's wrestlers that, I feel are, that I feel are promising, but however, I don't really see, people really, I don't really see NXT 2.0 like going anywhere, for the next year or two. Maybe in 2 years we'll definitely be saying like, wow, this is awesome, this is great. And I know that Nick Khan, WWE president, had mentioned that it will be overseen by Triple H, that Vince has nothing to do with it. I call bullshit, because if you watched NXT 2.0, it definitely felt like watching Raw. I do not feel an ounce of the black and gold NXT. Maybe now that, Triple H is recovering, he will, it may be slight changes, but I think I think it's dead in the water, truthfully. There are more promos on NXT now than it is wrestling. And NXT has always been about wrestling. It was all about, giving the indie vibes in WWE, which is something that a lot of fans really appreciate. That it was all about developing talent versus developing characters. And now with NXT 2.0, it's all about developing characters instead of developing talent. It's all about, can you cut a nice promo? We got, this whole Lash Legend, Wendy Williams type show. And I really had to think about it. I really do not remember in the Black and Gold NXT of like this talk show thing that the main roster loves to do. I mean, Kevin Owens has a little talk show on Raw or SmackDown. Happy Corbin has one. The Miz has one. John Morrison had one. It's just like on the main roster, damn near everyone had one, and everyone would host one as well. So seeing Lash Legend, and it's not even her promoting a next fight or anything, or it ending in a fight or something like that. She's just straight having like this Wendy Williams thing. Like, I fully expect for her to pull a how you doing type of slogan or something once they find out and get around to it. But yeah, I feel like I'm watching a Saturday morning wrestling show on Nickelodeon. I feel as though I'm not the intended audience. And I even feel like my son, who is 12 years old, is not the intended audience either. Now, don't get me wrong. It does have its moments. The John Gracie, I think his name is, very talented wrestler. I don't get the gimmick of him being this like conflict counselor who, calls the ring a safe place and there won't be fighting, but yet he's a wrestler. Now, I may be completely wrong and eventually get, will shut the fuck up if this is like a slow burn of him being like this happy person who is slowly turning psychotic or something. Now, that's something very different if that's where we are going, but they're not really dropping any hints of, this like Bray Wyatt, funhouse type of demented person. That would be very interesting if that what his character actually is. If he is like this happy, the ring is my safe place counselor, whereas though, deep down he's like a psychotic individual. Yeah, but I'll try to continue to be patient, but I really do not see my scenario happening. A lot of people like Tony Angelo from Chicago with the New York accent, wrestling in the velour pants and the wife beater. A lot of people like him. Like it, I love it whenever they do these characters. Sometimes it does work. Tony Angelo is slightly growing on me. I haven't really got to see his wrestling as of yet. Maybe I will check it out next Tuesday. Who knows? But a lot of people seem to really like him. A lot of people also seem to really like Braun Breaker as well. But my issue is that there's just too many new faces, and it's not like, it's not like with the black and gold NXT, they were kind of like bringing in some new faces and then, keep the old people, keep the originals there and, kind of filter them in a little bit. It's just like, no, it's the black and gold veterans who are few and far between. And like the show is nothing but a bunch of new faces. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know like what to really take from it. And, then we got Legado del Fantasma, which with Elektra Lopez. I love her look. I love the jacket with the hat. Very Carmen Sandiego vibes to me. But it seems like eventually Legado del Fantasma will eventually go away. We already got Hit Row moving up. Von Wagner, I'm like unsure about. I mean, I do watch NXT now on Hulu, so I don't get the full picture with some of these guys. So, maybe if I actually like paid attention or, sit down and give like my full attention to what's going on, then maybe I will understand the concept of NXT 2.0 and everything, but I really do not see it happening. I really don't. It's just like so many new faces, and it's not really giving me a reason to care for any of these people. Like when you have so many new faces like overflowing a roster, it's very hard for the fans to like really connect to someone, because they're very unsure if it's worth for me to connect to you, because there's so many new people. Like, what the hell? I might as well you might as well just not tune in type of situation, but yeah, I don't know about it. What's my other one? A lot of people like Braun Breaker. Like I said, he definitely gives me like Mojo Rawley vibes, but it seems like, he's slightly growing on me as well. Who knows? But yeah, I just don't know like long term where this is gonna go. I feel like I'm missing something. I think that was it as far as like recapping Raw. I'm not going to recap Raw and SmackDown because I really didn't watch it. Oh yeah, and then mini Brock Lesnar showed up in NXT 2.0 too, and they shaved his head. So now he gives me like baby Kane vibes, like 2020 Kane type of situations. And I'm not sure how to really feel about it, because he attacked Tommaso Ciampa after the match, and then he goes to try to choke slam Joe Gracie, but then Joe Gracie starts stroking his face, and then he just runs off. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I do not know what is going on. Somebody please tell me, like, why was he stroking his face? Why did and I didn't even catch the name of his character, but why did baby Kane like creep around like that and wanted to choke slam everyone? I don't know. We got Sonya Deville coming back as well. Now I'm trying to like read into some news. We got Sonya Deville coming back to go against Naomi. I'm hoping that, it's something that will go down, but I don't know. Let's see. I can't really think. I can't really think or see anything. Someone wrote an article, and I'm looking at Cage Tight Seats. Someone wrote AEW is outselling WWE in New York by a wide margin, so Reigns is coming to Raw. And you can take a lot of these things with a grain of salt. Oh yeah, I knew I was forgetting to talk about something. Bray Wyatt has been popping up in the news. Apparently there's a rumor out there that he was a difficult person to work with backstage. I don't think we heard anything like this until recently. And you know, people of course are defending Bray Wyatt. Like, I don't know Bray Wyatt. I don't know if, you know, he seems like a cool person, but we only know him as far as what we see on TV. Unless you're like a family member or something like that, then you are welcome to contact me about that. But I really do not see, I really do not see, I really do not, I really do not see like that rumor being true, only because we never heard about it. Like, things that goes on in the locker room, you tend to hear about it, especially in WWE. If there is some backstage drama, you would definitely hear there's some backstage drama that involves Bray Wyatt. So that's why I don't know about that. We will have to see. We also got the teaser vignette of the Usos' younger brother, whose name is now Sifa Fatu. So I'm hoping, you know, eventually we will have him also join the bloodline, bring Naomi into this too. I'm ready for it all. Let's see here. The Illest Inspiration, aka the Iconics, is going to debut at Impact with a shot at the Knockouts Tags Champion, which I'm all excited about. I'm all for it as well. Let's see. Ms. and Mrs. is renewed for a third season by USA Network. I actually like that show. I haven't watched any more of the Road to the Top show. I don't know. Like, it's very easy to compare those two shows because the premise is kind of the same. Except for, I do appreciate with Road to the Top, it's a lot more backstage what's going on with wrestling. Whereas though Ms. and Mrs. is more like outside of WWE, like what's going on in their personal lives and their family. A lot of people, of course, mentioning that, you know, this is fake, that is fake, and that's not how they act and stuff like that. And you know, it's all about reality TV. I do find Miz and Mrs. entertaining. The Miz is an entertaining person anyway. I knew about the Miz back when he was on the Real World, and so I'm a fan of his in general, just for the fact that he made his dream come true. I definitely remember him cutting promos on the Real World about how he's going to be on WWE, and now he made it happen, and he is married to a hot woman, and he is just living his life. Now, I am also reading something that I see is very motherfucking true. I don't know if people read about this, but apparently Ted DiBiase and his sons must repay millions of dollars following embezzlement scandal. I need to see if this is true, because I like Ted DiBiase. And if it's true that Ted DiBiase needs to repay stuff, it's like, what the fuck? Let's see. Okay, I'm seeing it really pop up at a lot of different sites. Let's see. Yeah, I see it popping up. Yeah. Hmm. Let's see. Um. Ooh, it is true. Oh my gosh. Breaking news, exclusive. Well, not exactly exclusive. Because this all came out. When did these stories break out? Oh, 14 hours ago, 7 hours ago. I'm all right. I'm slightly late to the game. However, Ted DiBiase and his sons must repay millions of dollars following embezzlement scandal. Like, what the fuck, yo? So they have to, this all came about from the auditor's office issued a demand to the former Department of Human Services Executive Director John Davis. This also includes Brett Favre as well. They have to pay back their share of misuse money. Two nonprofits, the Mississippi Community Education Center and the Family Resource Center, either misspent or improperly dispersed portions of that $77 million, meaning the money was ultimately misspent by a vendor to the nonprofit. As a result, the board and leadership were served with a demand for a certain amount of money. Auditors issued additional demands to vendors who received part of the $77 million in welfare spending, but did not completely fulfill the terms of their contracts. And so Brett DiBiase owes $225,950. Heart of David Ministries, controlled by Ted DiBiase Sr., $722,299, and then Ted DiBiase Jr. $3.9 million. I gotta reread this. I have to reread this to really understand what's going on. So it sounds like, and you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong, that they received money from, is it from the government that they received this from? But they received money as part of a non-profit that they weren't supposed to use, because it was done by the Department of Human Services, who gave out money to people who weren't supposed to receive it, and now they got to pay it back. But it says it did not completely fulfill terms of their contract. So I definitely got to look into that. Because that is crazy. That is very crazy. Wow. That is very crazy. That they have to pay back all that money. But I'll look into it a little more. And I'll more likely like tweet about it or something like that. But that is a very crazy story. That really is. Also, too, a bit of news. They did debut a vignette of the Usos' younger brother, which I was getting around to. Oh, yeah, I did mention it. His name is Seth Solo Fatu. Or is it Sefa? No, it's Sefa Fatu that is coming soon. And it looks like his hair is dyed blonde. So, I don't know. It was giving me, like, he doesn't really look himself. Like, he don't really look like his brothers or anything like that. Which I guess was done to kind of, separate him from his brothers or something like that. We'll definitely see how it all translates in the ring. If he is just as talented as his brothers, and whatnot, we will definitely see. I feel like I'm missing something else that I wanted to cover. Probably not. I'm sorry if I sound distracted. I was trying to read up on what's going on with this whole Ted DiBiase situation. And then of course I see that Tampa Bay is slapping the Eagles right now, which, that is what it is. Even though I'm a Cowboys fan, I am not an Eagles hater. I actually had Eagles players on my fantasy team who I eventually dropped because, that team is absolute trash this year. But they're rebuilding, so you can't really be too upset about what they're doing and everything. But yeah, it's garbage that is going on down in South Philly. Looks like as of right now it is 28-14, and Tommy Boy has already put up 15 points on my fantasy team, so thank you, TV. But yeah, I think that is it for this episode of the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you so much for listening, though. Let me give a few shout outs. Shout out to Julian Rob Bass from Wrestling Court Podcast on turnofminds.com, Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show, Chris and Keita from We Talk Next podcast, which is featured on the Keita and Jay Show, Dando and Larry from Half K podcast, Devin Afees from Clark Street Wrestling. And I was actually on their latest episode of their podcast. You can also catch them on the YouTube channel. So definitely be on the lookout for them when they release that episode. It may be a 2-part series, but I'm not 100% sure. But definitely be on the lookout for it as well. Also, shout out to Straight Talk Wrestling, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, definitely check out Straight Talk Wrestling. Also, Circle of Debate and Top Rope Wrestling Talk as well. Hold on. I think there was a bit of news that I wanted to say, but yeah, with Straight Talk Wrestling, definitely shout out to them. Happy birthday to the mini host. Definitely the future of podcasting. She makes me so happy that, she's very passionate with, wrestling journalism and things like that, because, she is doing her thing over there with mini hosts. So definitely check out Straight Talk Wrestling as well. Coming up next week will be the review of Crown Jewel. I will also do a review of the quote unquote Friday Night War and Saturday Night Dynamite. Ooh, that rhymed. Also a recap of Raw as well, and whether everyone was jumping for joy or very upset because Jinder Mahal won or lost as well. Be sure to hop on Twitter and follow me at JDC137. That's JAYDEE137. And be sure to follow the podcast as well at Wrestlebread. You can find me in the podcast on Instagram as well. You can also find me on TikTok. And I am on Twitch under JDC137 as well. Still a new stream. I had to stop streaming for about a week because I was out of town and wasn't able to obviously play any video games. I am a variety streamer. This Saturday will actually be a special October, not really stream or anything like that, but because we are in October, I will be playing The Last of Us for the first time. Yes, I know I just said for the first time, but if you have great memories about it, you can definitely watch me play and watch me react to, a lot of things that that is going on. As far as the podcast, you can also find the podcast on Instagram, Facebook. Also, I'm on TikTok as well, where I do a gaming and wrestling and other nerdy type of stuff over there too under JDC137. The podcast also has a YouTube channel, which I keep saying I'm going to work on, but I am going to work on it and, create some videos and stuff like that over there. And then, catching me live on Mixler, which will not last too much longer. I think the episode on the 28th will be the last episode live for right now. And that's because for the past couple of episodes, with me recording live, sometimes there is a child that decides to come downstairs and wants to be in the presence of mom. And you may have heard in the past couple of episodes a little bit of coughing in the background here and there. And that's because one of the kids, came downstairs and laid on the couch and wanted to spend a little bit of time in my presence and then fall asleep. But just for now, I'm going to take a step away from the live episodes. The episodes will still be coming out on Fridays. It's just that I will not be live so that I can edit out, the coughing and the mishaps that happens on live streaming, because when you're live, you know what I mean? But, let me know your thoughts and, leave a review of what you think about Crown Jewel that's coming up as well. And leave a review of the podcast wherever you're listening, whether that's Spotify or Apple, or wherever else it is, because there's a lot of places that this podcast is on. So thank you so much for listening, and until next time, guys, peace.